but there's some specific stuff that's occurring. Remember, we are going to have an area that has to invade that cartilage and begin the process. Note up here, this is where we've got our nice, pretty hyaline cartilage. The cartilage that looks like it's got little flowers all stuck in it, okay? But what do you see, these pretty little cells, what's beginning to kind of happen to them the further we get away from that epiphyseal plate? They look like they're stacking one on top of each other. Looks like they're getting bigger and bigger, okay? Bigger, 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 okay? There's a reason for why it looks this way. The cells that are getting bigger and bigger and bigger, they're doing what's termed hypertrophy. Hyper means too much, okay? So the cells have tried to get bigger because they're trying to reach nutrients. But that's not going to happen because they can't. And this invasion of that blood vessel gets to come in and take advantage of this. And so we get an invasion of the blood vessel that can begin to make the ossification centers active. Isn't that kind of cool? Now, if we need for the bone to grow as we move into other directions, once again, we're going to have our hyaline cartilage. Now, this is another picture of the hyaline cartilage, just showing the end portion, the secondary ossification center, the one that's taking place at the ends of the bone. But do you see the same thing happening? The cells are trying to reach their nutrients and stuff, but they're just not going to get it. Now, to increase in the size, once again, we're going to have cartilage that's going to be present. We're going to involve our chondrocytes, because the chondrocytes, they're going to help with our cartilage. Now, the articular cartilage, that's just going to get formed, and that's going to stay on the ends of those articulating bones. But the hyaline cartilage, chondrocytes can come in, we can increase the width, the size of that cartilage, and then as the process takes place, we'll get taken over by the bone. So in order for the bone to grow in width, the one thing we need to be present is a blood vessel. And based on what we learned yesterday, those are pretty present in this tissue, right? So if I have the situation where I want this to begin to increase in width, okay? If I've got a blood vessel, what I need to do is I need for another osteon to start forming. Is that correct? So if I've got the blood vessel can invade, and we can begin to have the layers of that osteon get laid down. And if I did that, have I not just made that bone increase a little bit this way? And then if I have another one lay down, increase it more, and another one, increase it more. So do you see how that process would occur to make it grow in that direction? Okay, so we can, as long as we've got the blood vessel, and if that blood vessel can lay down, all right, we can begin to form those layers around it and create another osteon that goes the length of the cell, the length of the bone. Does that make sense? So that would be our appositional growth. So now we can see that the bone can grow in length and the bone can grow in width. Now, factors that are affecting bone growth. The size and shape. Yes, genetics plays a part, okay? However, environment can influence it. Meaning, what is our nutrition? What about our hormones in our bodies? With nutrition, one of the things that I keep mentioning, proper diet. Making sure we get our calcium, our vitamin D, our proteins. All right, I've mentioned how important that is. For a child that is growing, okay, a growing child needs that proper diet. All right, because that is the point at which this growth and development is occurring. And the one thing that becomes very important is making sure that at the early age, all right, that their bone and cartilage is strong. Because once you reach your full height, roughly that 18 to 24 years of age, the only thing that begins to happen is bone breaking down. So the better that structure is at an earlier age, the healthier, stronger, all the stuff that they'll be as an adult. Okay? So, children who get a lack of vitamin D, the rickets is where the bones are soft, and if that continues, basically the biggest, well, all their bones are affected, but they end up bow-legged because of the weight of their body, and the bones are not strong to support the weight. So it makes them bow, you know, the legs bow out. Now, once we're older and we don't have the right vitamin D, which like I've said before, pretty sure the majority of us in here don't, okay, we get softening of the bones, and that's termed osteomalacia. Because anytime you have alacia at the end of something, it's letting you know the softening of. Okay, so osteomalacia would be the softening of the bones. Vitamin C. Now, vitamin C is one of those vitamins that's water soluble, meaning, you know, it's okay to take it because whatever the body doesn't absorb, you're simply going to urinate out. Okay? Vitamin C, look what it does. Collagen synthesis. Rebar of the bone. So that's pretty important. When you don't have enough present, like vitamin C, like the citrus fruits and stuff like that, scurvy is the result. We also see that a lack of vitamin C causes wounds not to heal, and it can cause your teeth to fall out. Yeah, because when we talk about teeth, how they are actually held in the gums is amazing. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Hormones. Now, this right here is going to come back to haunt us in part 2. Hormones. Growth hormone. Think about growing, right? Need that so we can grow to be however tall or whatever we're supposed to be. Most people think Once we've reached that growth, that's it. All right? We don't ever see growth hormone ever again. No, 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 no. Okay? Growth hormone is needed 24/7, 365, 366 if it's a leap year. All right? Because, believe it or not, growth hormone helps cells take up foods that we've digested. However, we'll get into that in part 2. But I'm just saying, it's going to come back to haunt us because we're going to look at it in what the hormones do to bone to make sure that we've got the right stuff in blood. So it's going to come back to haunt us. All right, bone growth, definitely. Thyroid hormone. We need that for growth of all of our tissues. Really cool how the body regulates that. Sex hormones. Stuff that we think of like the estrogen and testosterone. There's more, but those are the major ones, okay? And what this will help do is it'll help that epiphyseal plate close, become the line, and stop the growth of the bone. So that you don't get, gigantism comes with its own set of special problems, such as this, where we've got a giant and dwarf. They're both fully adult. Each one coming with its own set of problems. Now, once we begin to have the fully formed bone, adult bone, everything is done, we're at full growth, blah, blah, blah. The body is now going to spend its time building, remodeling, storing, pulling out, fixing, whatever it needs to do to the bone. We need the cells that we're going to have, such as the clast and the blast, okay, to be able to do that. Now, this helps with our bone growth, bone shape, any type of stressors we put on the bone, repair to the bone, and then one of the biggies, calcium ion regulation, which is going to come back to haunt us in part 2 when we start talking about the endocrine system. Trust me on this. Thickness of bone, bone density, all right? One of those things that you'll have to be worried about the older you get, okay? We can see that the thickness of the bone, if the person is healthy, will respond to the stressors we place upon it. If the diet is deficient in any way, that could actually affect the density of the bone, density and the strength. We can form those new osteons, like I just showed. If we've got the blood supply, and if the blood supply is present, we can lay down the new osteons if needed. It's going to do this in response to stressors. What do I mean by stressors? Well, that would fall under our bone repair, but what kind of stress could we place on our bones? Weight, exercising, more impact that you might put on the bones, okay? Yeah, the bone actually needs to respond to every single one of those stressors. And it will, if all the conditions are right.